The ocean was quiet that night, too quiet. A heavy, suffocating stillness blanketed the water, stretching out toward the horizon like a vast, inky void. Even the waves seemed to hold their breath. For centuries, sailors had whispered about the Bermuda Triangle, a place where the rules of nature didn't apply, a place where the sea itself could swallow you whole and leave nothing behind. But the six aboard the Aurora didn't believe in ghost stories. The Aurora was no ordinary vessel. It was sleek, modern, bristling with cutting-edge technology designed to study the ocean's secrets. Its mission was simple: to investigate the Triangle's notorious electromagnetic anomalies and finally lay the myths to rest. They weren't the first to try. Of course, ships and planes had ventured into the Triangle before, only to vanish without a trace. Entire crews gone, lifeboats abandoned, black boxes silent. But the crew of the Aurora believed they were different. They trusted their technology, their training, and their logic. Until the night everything went wrong. The trouble started just after midnight. The ship's instruments began acting up. Nothing major at first, just subtle glitches. The compass needle jittered back and forth, struggling to find north. GPS coordinates blinked out for a few seconds, then reappeared, miles off course. The lead scientist, Dr. Kate Merrick, dismissed it as a minor malfunction. "It's the magnetics," she said, not looking up from her notes. "Probably just interference from the Earth's field. It's what we came here to study, remember?" The others nodded, but there was unease in the air. As the hours passed, the malfunctions grew worse. The compasses spun wildly, the GPS became unreadable, and the ship's radar began picking up strange blips, fast-moving objects that appeared for a split second, then vanished. "It's just noise," the engineer muttered, staring at the screen, but his voice wavered. Then came the first voice. It crackled through the radio, faint and garbled, buried beneath layers of static. At first, they thought it was another vessel trying to make contact, but the words didn't make sense. "Turn back," the voice hissed. It didn't sound human. "What was that?" one of the crew members whispered. Kate tried to respond, her voice steady despite the knot tightening in her stomach. "This is the Aurora. Identify yourself." No answer. The radio went dead. The ship plunged into total darkness an hour later. The power cut out without warning, plunging the crew into an abyss so complete it felt like the ocean had swallowed them whole. Flashlights flickered on, beams slicing through the black, revealing wide eyes and tense faces. The engineer fumbled with the controls, muttering under his breath as he tried to reboot the system. It's not working," he finally said. "The entire system's fried." "Impossible," Kate snapped. "We have backups, redundancies. This ship was designed." A sound cut her off. It was faint at first, barely audible over the lapping of the waves against the hull. A low hum, rising and falling in an eerie, rhythmic pulse. "What the hell is that?" someone whispered. The sound grew louder, vibrating through the metal walls until it felt like it was inside their heads. Then the lights appeared. They came from beneath the water, brilliant, pulsating orbs that danced and weaved like fireflies. At first, they were beautiful, hypnotic, but as they drew closer, their movement became unnerving, too precise, too intelligent. Kate felt her breath catch in her throat. "They're watching us." The Hume rose to a deafening roar. The crew clung to the walls, their hands pressed over their ears as the lights circled the ship faster and faster. One of the scientists, a young man named Harris, stumbled toward the deck. "We have to get out of here," he shouted. "No," Kate yelled, grabbing his arm, but it was too late. The second he stepped outside, the lights converged on him. There was a blinding flash, a sound like shattering glass, and then nothing. Harris was gone. The remaining crew stared at the empty spot where he had stood, too stunned to move. What just happened?" the engineer stammered. Kate's voice was barely a whisper. "We need to leave, now." They tried. The engine wouldn't start, the emergency power wouldn't engage. The ship was dead in the water, drifting aimlessly in the heart of the triangle. And the lights were still there, circling, waiting. One by one, the crew began to unravel. They heard things, voices whispering their names, speaking in languages they couldn't understand. They saw shadows moving in the corners of their vision, shapes that vanished the second they turned to look. "It's in our heads," Kate said, clutching her temples. "Whatever this is, it's messing with our minds." But it wasn't just in their heads. That's when they found the scratches. Deep gouges etched into the metal walls of the lower deck, like something had clawed its way inside. "We're not alone," one of the crew murmured, his voice trembling. "It's already here." The last entry in the ship's log was written in shaky, uneven handwriting. "They're taking us, one by one. I don't know what they are, but they're not human. They've been here for centuries, watching, waiting. The Bermuda Triangle isn't just a place, it's a doorway. And now it's open." When the Coast Guard found the lifeboat drifting near the triangle, it was empty. No bodies, no survivors, just the scratches. And the black box. The recording was mostly static, punctuated by faint whispers, but near the end a voice broke through. It wasn't a voice anyone recognized, metallic, cold, inhuman. "We've been watching you." For a long moment, the investigators sat in silence, staring at the recorder. Then the radio crackled to life. The same voice, low and hollow, whispered one final message. "You're next." The Bermuda Triangle still waits, its secrets buried beneath the waves. How many have been taken? How many more will disappear? Perhaps some questions are better left unanswered.